All right, hello everyone. So I thought I'd do a video on how to follow any asset with Cycle Edge. Why? Because Cycle Edge report is new and it's really it's like really pretty amazing because we get to know what's going to happen with a high probability of correctness way in advance, and accordingly we can plan the trade. We know what the market's going to do, and then we can just follow along. So following along is the only thing we need to do. And if you know technical analysis and money management, then Cycle Edge with its timing report is going to be the one that's giving you the clarity of what's going to happen. Obviously, in addition to that, the timing, the general hours of the day for timing the market is also important, which we provide at the Global Trader Club. Also, asset-specific swing days, swing hours from the Cycle Edge report. So let's take a look. I wanted to do a euro dollar example, but we can do whatever you want. And if in fact, if you want any of the assets done, so we can take a look at it and follow through how that might help you, drop a comment. And, out of the 6 assets that I do, we can definitely check them out. We can also look at the history as well. And you can ask, well, what did it do on that day? And we can check it out. All we have to do is just get a report out from Cycle Edge for the future and for the past. So if you want to test anything, we can also do that. So make a comment in the video below for the video below, and then we'll get that done. In the meantime, let me get myself out of here and we'll see the full setup on the report. All right, so in order to understand the euro dollar and how we went from here to over here and what we're going to do this week, or in fact what we can do day by day, let's take a look at last week's euro dollar. By the way, you can find the videos for all of the assets I do on Vimeo, the daily videos, and also the reports that I provide, the screens and everything. You can see them. They become available once the week is over. Other than that, they're only available to members. So let's take a look at euro dollar. Now, last week, from Sunday to Saturday, what did we have? We had Wednesday and Thursday, critical contact. Now, these are important things to know. If I know that we're going to have critical days on Wednesday and Thursday, and on Monday and Tuesday, it's only a 1 star, but Wednesday, Thursday, these are like 3 stars. Obviously, something is happening here. So let's go and check out the summary. This is the weekly insight. So the Cycle Edge report is going to give me a basic summary. And it says, look, on Tuesday, there's an extreme day. All right, we figured that out. And that's probably going to continue on Thursday as well. The key pivot point is on Tuesday. So that's important to know, because if a move is going to be done and that move is going to be heavy on Wednesday, Thursday, then the key pivot point is the day before. Mark this date. Apex tier confluence. And this is the highest conviction signal we've got for that week. So the priority date is July 28th. It's a Tuesday. And the critical days for this is when it's all going to blow out Wednesday, Thursday. Let's now go to the daily Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Here we are. Here, as you can see, on Tuesday, I've got a shock day. Obviously, we don't have a shock day every day. As you can see, Monday is a routine day. So Tuesday is a shock day. It's giving me the alert windows for the day. It's giving me the specific hours for the day. These are only for the euro dollar. And also, as you know, in the Global Trader Club, if you come to the weekly market timing area, you'll see the general trading hours for the full month of August. Now, for last week, it was this one, because this is archived already, so you can only find it in the archive tab. And here we have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. There's no video. I don't work on Fridays. Sometimes I do a video, sometimes I don't. So now all we have to do is follow through. So I'm going to get this out of the way. Now we know Tuesday and, oops, let me just show you Wednesday, Thursday as well. This was Tuesday. All right, so Tuesday, high tension critical, shock day. Wednesday, shock day. And Thursday, we have another shock day. Okay, so Friday comes in Friday. We're just going to flow with Friday. Okay, so let's get this out of the way and minimize it here. So if I come into Tuesday, that's your Tuesday. Remember, Tuesday is a critical day. So the market pushing up. Then this is Tuesday. Remember, that's Sunday. That's Monday the 27th. Tuesday the 28th, 29, 30. And that's your Friday following through, which means a pullback going up nice and easy. Okay. And this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week. So let's see how that panned out. So how can we follow that through? Well, let's get into the 15-minute chart. The 15-minute chart is going to simply give us the trading hours that, here we are, the trading hours. In fact, why don't I put it on the IDT? This is the intraday trading template. So let's put this into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. All right, this is Wednesday, Thursday, and that's Monday and Tuesday. All right, so as you can see, Monday the 27th of July here, Tuesday 28, market coiling sideways, and then Tuesday we have an up move. Let's see. Tuesday, it's already given me, every day is going to give me something to do here, right? If there's a trade or not trade. Look what it says. Pushed below yesterday's low, which is there, then failed. Sellers are trapped, and it was a new weekly low. So this was the zone where the market trapped everybody. Sellers are now trapped. And this is the sideways market that we are now in. So let's see what time that was at. So if I go there, and if I now go into the 27th and the 28th, let's do it. So on the 28th, that's when the shift, the pivot was being expected. So 10 past 9, 10 o'clock, 12:35, 5:45. Let's check them out. This is 12:35, guys. Market coming in to do that stop sweep, trapping everybody. And then I've got, what was it, 5:30. Market breaking out at 5:30. Nice and easy. Knowing the hours obviously helps. 5:45 until 7. Possible disruptive move towards 8:45. So 5:45, my apologies there. That's when the market breaks out. 7:30. This is your 7:30, guys. Market making a top. 7 o'clock, sorry. Getting me hours wrong. 7 o'clock is here. There you go. And then 8:45. Possible disruptive move towards 8:45. Market disruptive move towards 8:45. And then going sideways. All right. So this is already known. But you know Tuesday was a pivot. If you waited and you said, well, I want to get in on Wednesday for the big shock days, once I discover what the market has done or is doing, what can I do? Well, you just do the same thing. This is now your sideways coil. Look at that. Right? This is where the market broke out, remember? That was the breakout, yeah? So market's going sideways. Okay, that was a breakout zone coming to retest again and again. So let's check out the hours again. This time for Wednesday. Expect volatility in the market can be one directional until New York. So let's take a look at the hours. 6:25, 9:30, 10:55. Let's do it. 6:25. 6:25, markets at high levels. Then we have 10 o'clock, right? 10 to 10:50. That's your 10:50. And we had 9 something, yeah? 10 past 9, I think it was 9 o'clock there. So market from the highs coming in down. Then I've got what? 10 past 1, 3:15, 3:50. 10 past 1 is here. 3:15, 3:50. This is your 3:15 to 3:50. And that's your call there. Why? Because it's at the place where it broke out yesterday. Okay, so it's coming back to retest. You're just coiling, you're just following through. Remember, Tuesday was your pivot day. If it's a pivot day, we shouldn't go down. We could always stop sweep, that's not a problem, but we shouldn't close down below it, right? So what else have I got here? I've got 5:30, 5:35. If market reverses or stops, be careful until Asia. It's a dark alley. Well, let's take a look. 5:30. This is your 5:30, and afterwards it's a dark alley, right? Okay, so as you can see, the market never came back down from here, breaking out. Now, if you waited for the breakout, you still should have been okay. Why? Because remember, we're expecting a shock move. So the market didn't break it down. Instead, it's making a U-turn from the same time at trading hours. This is your hour because that is also an hour. This is also an hour. Why? Because this hour, they're not relevant. It's in the middle of nowhere. Okay, we're not at a low. We're not at a high of a coil. So what to do? Well, trade the tops and bottoms, as I always say, but at the right time. That's the right time. It's where we broke out. So that's how it is. Now, the market broke out. You could also follow that to the upside because that is a good move. And that's your good buy kiss right there. Okay. Now let's take a look at the cycle age report. That's going to tell us something extra, and it's going to help us with the euro dollar. First of all, let's go into these shock days, shall we? Did it give us a special time for euro dollar? Because this is Tuesday and it's already giving me windows. It's saying, well, this is Asia, so that's like pretty much when the market is opening up. I've got a trap-like reversal from 10 past 1 to 5:25. So this is on a Tuesday. So let's come to Tuesday, which is there. 10 past 1. 10 past 1, let's do it, is there into 5:25, which is there. All right, so this is your 5:25. All right, doesn't look like much of a trap. It's just going sideways, but it's fine. We don't want to be mucking around in a place where it's like tricky. Okay, so we don't want to be doing that. What else can we do? So let's take a look. All right, so those are special hours we need to look out for. What else have I got? 10 past 9 to 10:45, trap-like reversal. 7:45 to 11, look, flash, breakout volatility. 7:45 to 11:20. Well, this is Tuesday. 7:45 is there. Okay, so this is your flash volatility happening. 7:45, and the market is breaking out of that coil on Tuesday. Boom. All right, market breaking out. Good to know in advance. What else? Then I've got a flash breakout, and that's in the closing. Okay, volatility. So we're expecting volatility towards 7:45 to 11:20. Is it giving me an hour? Let's see. The hours it gave me were in the morning. Here for specifically for the euro dollar. So 9:10, I think on Tuesday, 9:10 would have been somewhere there. That's your 9 o'clock there. All right, a bit in the middle of nowhere. But those were the hours it gave me. And remember, we're looking for a pivot. So if it doesn't set up, it doesn't set up. But we're expecting volatility and we're getting it. Let's take a look at Wednesday. Now, flash breakout volatility we have towards 3:30. Do I have anything towards 3:30 on Wednesday? Wednesday, the only thing that's breaking out at 3:30 is the market pushing to the upside. So we do have a bit of volatility coming in after 3:30. Is it giving me anything else? Well, it's giving me other hours. Remember, today is a shock day. Look for trigger events that fall inside an active window. So what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to match these hours, periods, with my technical analysis. And I'm also supposed to read these. Let's take a look. Trend exhaustion, institutional correction at 10:10. So this is Wednesday, remember? 10:10. This is Wednesday. Here we are. And Wednesday, this is 10:10 here. So this is your 10:10 bar. Okay, so correction, institutional correction coming in. And that was your trade hour. Nice and easy. Is it giving me a period for it? Yeah, it's saying from, well, it's 10 to 10. Here it's 10:10. It's just giving me 1 hour. And then I've got cycle peak trade hours 1 to 1:15. Cycle peak trade hours 1 to 1:15 here. This is in the middle of nowhere, so I don't want to be trading here, but I already have a direction. Okay. Cycle peak trade hours again, 2:30 to 3:15. Let's do it. 2:30 is there. 3:15 is right there. Okay, and remember, this is from our general trading hours, so we bring it all together. Now we have a cluster. The general hours and the European, not the European, and the euro dollar setting up. Now what? Now I've got 5 to 5:30, and I've got cycle peak tension release. So 5:30, let's check it out. 5:30, a bit of tension release, nice and easy. As you can see, it's not going lower than that though. Okay, and the market's turning around. Knowing these in advance is good because then you don't get caught up. And then I've got trend exhaustion, institutional correction at 10:30. And then I've got here 10:30, all the way in there. If we take a look at Wednesday, as you can see, these were the hours. And that's boom to the upside. So it's given us any time of the day, if you mark in your levels, which as you can see, it's not hard to do, especially with this intraday trading setup that I've got here. It's not bad at all. And you can just do the same things. Now this is Thursday. Let's take a look at Thursday. Thursday was also a shock day. So it's telling me sustained pressure from 315 to 445. So let's take a look. 315. This is 315, 445 zone. And that's your 445 flying over. All right. So sustained pressure. 8:40 to midnight, V-shape retest. V-shape retest. 8:40. 8:40 is there to midnight. Well, it's out here. But obviously we have to check the Thursday general hours, right? So what do I got here? They can flow. Today can be a flow day, which flow day means we're just going one way. 245 all the way to 240. So let's do Thursday. 245 is there. Going all the way into 240 in the afternoon. Let's see where 240 is. Should be somewhere. 240, all right, so pretty much a bit of a pullback and going to the same place as it was before. Whoops. And in the same direction, okay, an intraday move, and can continue after an intraday move in the same direction until 7:30, 8:35, and maybe closing. So that's just 7:30. 7:30. 8. That's your 8:30 until closing is there. Okay. And that's it. Now, obviously, we have to know technical analysis. We're not just looking at hours, right? So where would you get back in the game? You need to just follow through. Let's do it. Remember, initially, we came from a Monday. That was a Monday high, and that was the opening. What happened? The market, that's the opening there. Let's just follow this all the way through. What happened? Monday, we had a range. Tuesday, stops got swept. And we know it's a pivot day. Market goes up. Okay. And where did it break out? Within the coil of the day, right there. That is the place of the breakout. Why? Because look at the timing. Okay. Breaking out at a trade hour. Then the market comes back into the next trading hour the next day, retesting your breakout. Monday goes up. Tuesday goes up, pulls back slightly on Wednesday, breaking out with the expected volatility. What does it say here? This is the IDT setup. It's not out yet. It will be later on though. Wednesday. New weekly high at the third level. Buyers are fully loaded. Closed above yesterday's high. So the day ended strong. Now remember, we've got a Thursday shock day too. So Thursday, we're expecting the market to pull back again to go up, right? Because what do we want? If the market broke up, came down, and just follow through, broke up, came down. Now I didn't have a trade hour here. So if we don't have a trade hour on a pullback, what do? You can just sit tight. You can do a technical entry or you can do a sit tight entry, which means, well, it pulled back into where it broke out before, which is that red bar over there. Okay, that's that red bar. Okay, and then I can get in, and that's about it. Would I have done anything here? I would have waited. I wouldn't have done anything. Why? Because I like to trade when the price and time match. But what about here? Well, if you come to Thursday, you know it's a shock there. And what's happening here? This is your New York session. Remember the boxing? How to box in. These are your trading hours. When the market has made this trading hour high and low, you got a box. Once the box breaks, that's your call. Market comes to a high, continues in that same flow, and that's it. That's your get out. Let's take a look at Friday. Now, Friday was a flow day. All right, so all we have to do is pick up the pieces from Thursday. So what I have a V-shaped retest. That's pretty much on midnight, so it won't be there. I got sustained pressure coming in Asia. I've got sustained pressure all the way into 920, right? So all the way into 920, got sustained pressure. This is sustained, sustained, sustained pressure, and the market is just under pressure. And then I've got a V-shaped retest from 920 to 135. This is your 135. So the market is coming back for a retest. What do you need to notice here? You need to notice that you got a gap. And that's the box, remember, from yesterday that the market broke out of. It's the same thing. Stop sweeping, moving to the upside. Now let's see if we had any hours there on a Friday. It could be another flow day. Let's take a look. To 750. Worth being extra careful. So I had 610, 635. 610, 635 on Friday is pretty much down here. 635, 610. Nothing really to do here because it hasn't closed gap. And then I've got 730. All the way up there. Nothing to do today at all. Nothing, because I've got no time. None of the times match a pullback. If I had an hour here, then that would have been a different story. Around 4:30 or around 5:15, we would have said, okay, that was the box, stop sweep, we're going up. That's fine. But wait a minute, I haven't checked this yet. Sorry, my mistake. 520, speculative expansion, liquidity injection. All right. Look, it's giving us a level there, and that's 520. Look, this is your 520, and then the market just pushing up. All right, right into there. Now let's take a look at Monday. Same kind of thing, but with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it belongs to this week, so I'm just going to let it go. Oops, let's do this. Right, there we go. Now this morning I did a video and I told the guys, let's take a look. All right, let's not keep you all in suspense. This is euro dollar, right? So this is Tuesday. Now look, Tuesday was a gain day. All right. So knowing that it's a gain day is important because it means that we're highly likely going to close higher than we opened. That's your gain day. Tuesday is also a trade day. That was yesterday, right? Okay, so we had, all right, Tuesday, 4th of August, and I got Friday, 7th of August, right? So Tuesday was already a trade day, so that's why I've got the arrow there, right? You can see. Why? Because the market pulls back. That's my TSM line on the price. TSM line here on the TSM indicator, right? And then market going up. So also Wednesday is a gain day, right? Let's take a look. Sneak into Wednesday. Wednesday is also a gain day. So I said, guys, you know, we just need to look into these levels, okay? And then, you know, if there's a good zone, we should get in. Bullish recovery, steady growth phase at 920. And I talked about specifically this time period and 1245 as a peak cycle trade hour, because we should be having a gain day and we should just follow it through. And our technical analysis, if you're using my indicators, you got your D and S zones up there, okay? Plus you got the TSM pricing, 72. It's 1591, which is just up there. And that's where I got two targets. One on the way, which should, you know, just below the low of, just below the high of that. Plus, this is where the market broke down. So that bar is the cause for the break. So we're trading cause and consequence, DNS. That's our targeting, plus obviously the TSM. And on the weekly as well, there's still room to go up. Now, the important thing too here as well, if you see 53, 55, we've got levels there, right? 1584. They already match. You see my zone there. All right. So the targets are matching. So I've got room to follow these things through. So then I can just go with it. Obviously, here on the 15-minute chart, okay. As you can see, the stop losses are, you know, very tight. And I'm put far away stop losses, just 10 pips, okay. So tight stop losses, and also it's telling me what's happening today, every day, you know. For example, look, Tuesday, quiet day, volume loading in the range. So what does that tell you? It means that these guys are buying in this range. The volume is loading up. It's not looking like it's huge, but they're accumulating. And then look what's going on. It's the same thing, right? We're cycling up, coiling sideways, look. And then we've got a breakout. Okay, market comes back into a trading hour and then just goes up. Okay, same kind of thing here. This morning I said the same thing. Guys, this is the opening range, right, for the day. And Asia, look at what Asia did. Asia went up. Okay, so it pretty much gave us a heads up and it never came back down. If it had gone up and then came back down, I would have said, okay, so this Asia session is probably going to give us a lower level in London so we could go up or something. But it didn't. You see how London at trading hours going up, trading hours going up, okay? And it's not coming down. So getting in fact, like I said in the video, it was just before this zone. All right, 920, yeah, I think. Yep, that's it. It was around there when I said this could be a nice push to the upside, and it is. It was. And it's a tight stop loss, which is exactly what this trade is here. Okay, so first target, the week opening range high is there. And if we break above that, obviously, we want to go into our DNS zone, right? And that's it. And I've got targets up ahead at 72, which is 1590, which is exactly where that is, 1590. So you can see that the stop losses are tight and the targets are logical, and and obviously our intraday trading scenario just gives us a good heads up. Even when the buyers are trapped, look, it says trap buyers at 15.35, trade open, manage it. So why did it give me that? Because as you can see, that's the previous week's high. So anybody who bought here, they got trapped. That's cycle. Now it's giving me a cycle swept because of that. Once it's broken out, that's it. It's going to turn into cycle break. Why is this important? Well, sometimes you'll get cycled. Let's see if I can catch one here. It'll give you, for example, here it would have given you that. When the market swept a low and the cycle did not break, like here, okay, like we would have had a zone here and the cycle didn't break, it'll tell you it's swept. You know it's a pivot day, that's it, you're going with it. That's why. So it gives you a comment. It'll keep you up to date as to what's going on. And all you have to do is just match your trading hours with it. And your stop loss is always tight, because I don't do big stop losses. I'm not a fan of having dents in the account, rather just have it cruise along. All right. So this IDT is still in testing mode. So it's not with our indicators in the software page just yet, but it will be soon. But everything else is pretty much there in the software page here. So if you get here, you'll find the TSM, the DNS, and all everything else there as well. Okay, so now the market going up, we can pretty much manage the trade. It's telling me to manage the trade as well because of this trap here. So what I want to do, since the next hours are there, why not just take the stops higher? Because that's the previous day's high. They've just done it. I don't want the market coming in there. So I'll just push it up, reducing my risk even more, and I'll just follow through. All right, I hope this sheds a bit of light into the cycle edge. Really, you can just pretty much read what's going on. And I've improved the format as well with the new one for August, which I did a little video on it for NASDAQ as well, on how to prepare for it. So if you want to watch it and check it out, it might really be helpful if you know what's going to happen before it happens. Have a good day.